Hi everybody and welcome. We're here at Hot and Poured Nights in San Francisco with the continuation of I'm a Fighter Championship event for Dead or Alive 5. I'm Kat Gunn and I'm here with my partner Eric. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, it's been a while since E3 now, but we've got this new updated build and it's just looking absolutely incredible. I know some people have been seeing a few videos of builds that have been close to this, and they're a little skeptical that it sort of looked a bit more like Doa 4 with how often the hold was going through.
Right.
But I can assure you guys that isn't the case at all when you're actually playing it. It may look that way at first, but when you're actually playing it, it's nothing like that at all.
And speaking of the characters, we have some new ones that we're showing off, including someone that's completely new to the Dead or Alive franchise. Not Virtua Fighter, but in the Dead or Alive franchise, a character named Rig.
Yeah, that's right. We've got Rig now, and you know he made his debut about a couple weeks, about a month ago or so. And he's a Taekwondo character, and that's something that's always been missing from Dead or Alive. So we've got that now, and he actually looks kind of like he's out of a different franchise. Got the hood going. He sort of almost looks like he's out of Tekken. And every time he launches somebody, he's got these really long juggles that just keeps on bouncing him back up and up and up into the air. And it's just really, really fun to try to sit there and play him, you know?
I love seeing these new fighting styles that we're getting, and one of them is the wrestling characters too, and Mariposa. So we're also having characters that we've seen some previous Dead or Alives coming back, including people like Mariposa.
Yep, La Mariposa or La Mariposa, or you know, the mystery wrestler, sometimes rumored to be Lisa. She is quite a bit better than she was in DOA 4. I'd say now if you had put La Mariposa from DOA 5 in DOA 4, she probably would have been top tier. Now, of course, in DOA 5, a lot of the characters are much better than they were, so that isn't necessarily the case here, but she's still much, much better than she was before, and people who are returning and wanting to play her should be pleasantly surprised, I think.
And on top of having characters that we've seen, we also have about, I think, a solid 8 players that I know from the DOA community that are here.
Yeah, I seem to recall Ryujin is here, and you know, he's one of my longtime friends, one of my longtime rivals as well. He always used to refer to himself as Jan Lee incarnate, so it's great to see him here. We're going to see some good play from Jan Lee, who's another one of the new characters in this build, by the way. And it's just so exciting to see him here, because if there's anyone who knows how to do him justice, it will be Ryujin.
That will be interesting to see. We also have the girl power. We have Vanessa and Kayane, once again, they were actually at E3, so they have a lot of playtime.
Yeah, that's true.
Into this.
They put on a very, very strong performance at E3, and it's going to be great to see them here again. I'd like to see how Kayane can adapt now, because, you know, most of the time she's playing Soul Calibur, but that did not stop her from putting on a very, very strong performance last time. And Vanessa, of course, she came in second last time at E3.
Right.
So no doubt she wants to come back here and try to finish this one off this time, take it for herself.
And Kayane is actually using one of the characters, now it's second year in the Dead or Alive franchise, Kokoro.
Oh, she's using Kokoro now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You know, Kokoro is another one of those characters who's gotten a lot stronger in this game. She's got a new stance. She's got tons of different new attacks out of it. And what's kind of scary about her now is she can run in with this quick punch that puts the person immediately into a sit-down stun that they can't hold out of at all.
Right.
And she can extend that with another sit-down stun and then go immediately into a launch or knock them straight into a wall. So she is just a terrifying character right now. She gets one good hit and goodbye, half your life bar. It's really scary to fight her at the moment.
Well, I can see why she made that choice.
Yeah, I mean, she's smart. Kayane knows when she sees strength, and she picked up a smart character there.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
All right, well, something else, I think the virtual fighter characters, I believe we are going to see, you know, they showed Sarah at E3, but now Sarah's actually playable.
Yes, and of course, you know, seeing her in a trailer and actually sitting there and playing as her are completely different things. As a character in the Dead or Alive franchise, Sarah is nothing less than a complete monster, to put it bluntly. She's really terrifying. She's incredibly fast. When she goes into her flamingo stance, you're forced into a mix-up that can just absolutely obliterate you if you guess wrong. So you can't let her get into that situation at all. And, you know, she's just pressure from the very moment the round starts.
And, you know, I'm starting to get a sense, you know, generally Dead or Alive was always kind of dominant by the ninja characters. You know, they're very strong, especially coming from a game created by Team Ninja. You would expect that. But now I'm starting to notice, especially with Bass coming back, who's very powerful, Bayman's very powerful, we're starting to see a lot of grapple characters. Yes,
we are. I always found that in DOA 4, you know, the characters seem to play the same, even the grapplers. They're just kind of weaker versions of the ninja, but this time around, they are very, very individualized.
Right.
And with Bass in particular, oh, he puts the pressure on. You cannot let this guy knock you down even once, because the moment he does, he gets these guaranteed pickups. He just grabs you, puts you back up. He's at like plus 13 frame advantage for you competitive players. For the casuals who don't know what that means, it means you dare not attack Bass because he's about to put the hurt on.
And he has that massive bear hug, and if he gets that off, it's like, you know, he comes and grabs you. And if he gets that, he seems to take like half your health or something.
Yeah, he can just do absolutely crazy stuff off of that.
Right.
His critical burst move, which we talked about at E3, gives you an unholdable stun.
Right.
That in itself is unholdable, no matter what you do. Even if you see it coming and you hold it, he'll just go right through it. And he's so intimidating now. Almost half of his moves seem to put you in a sit-down stun of some sort. So you never really want to get hit by Bass. It's just he's a truck.
So going over another new character, then what do you think of Elliot?
Oh.
He looks like he's grown up. That's cool. He looks a little older than he did in Dead or Alive 4. He looked really young in Dead or Alive 4. So
yeah, he does. I've heard the joke made he's kind of got the Justin Bieber thing going on now. But he's actually really good. It's strange because he almost seems to play like a DOA 4 style.
Right.
And you'd think that would be a bad thing with all the new tools that some of the other characters are getting, but it isn't really that way. For example, he is now the fastest character in the game. And some people are going to be...
Elliot we're talking about.
Elliot. We were talking about Elliot.
Okay.
Now, I know some people are thinking, wait a minute, Elliot? That doesn't make any sense. He's got, what, a 10-frame jab? The fastest characters in the game are Kasumi and Christie. They're the fastest ones. But no. Now Elliot has a high punch, which is kind of like a quick palm, that is 9 frames.
What?
He has a 9-frame attack. That's right.
Wow.
And because this attack does more damage than either Kasumi or Christie's jabs, it will beat them out every single time at the start of the round if they both go off at the same time.
Right. And is that a mid or a...
It's a high.
Okay.
So it's a high jab like theirs. But if this thing lands, unlike Kasumi or Christie, it causes a very deep stun. We're talking like for half a second they'll be completely stunned. So he's got the best interrupt move in the game, hands down, right now. He's technically the fastest. It's kind of scary what they did with him, really.
I like that. I think it's really great to see him. He's kind of improved from Dead or Alive 4, I would say.
Yes, and people remember in Dead or Alive 4, if he tried to parry any of the attacks, you couldn't really get a guaranteed follow-up afterwards. Now, if he parries anything, he'll get a guaranteed launch afterwards in the combo that follows it.
Right.
So he's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
That's really cool. I think we have some time here, so we will be throwing in some player interviews. One of the other players who's from the DOA community that's here is Silent Legend.
Yeah, we've got Silent Legend now. For those out there who don't really know this guy, Silent Legend really helped to lay the groundwork for the competitive DOA 4 scene back in the day. He was breaking down characters and learning, glitches within the system and all these little competitive tricks that nobody else had discovered before. And, after he stopped playing, nobody really discovered anything else afterwards that was of relevance. He discovered the thing which is known as the Force Tech. I won't go into that, but it pretty much changed the entire way the game was played competitively. So this guy is pretty much a scientist, but...
He really is a silent legend in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, he is. He doesn't get nearly enough credit for the things he's done for the community.
That's true. He does do a lot of the video editing, and I've actually was able to play with him here, and he uses my character Hayate, so of course, it's really great to get advice from somebody who's extremely, good with that character. But I think he's going to be using Rig for this because, he's played it, and like you said, he can break down games super fast, and he's realized that Rig is one of those characters that, even though he has a main and he's comfortable with that, he's picked up Rig and realized, okay, this guy has got some moves.
Yeah, I don't know. He's not sharing all of his secrets yet. Obviously, he wants to try to win that money today, but it's worth pointing out, if there's anybody who can break down a character in a short amount of time, it is Silent Legend.
And that's him right there, guys. That is Silent Legend in the flesh. He's got those earbuds in, and what do you think about that? Because when I'm playing, it definitely helps to kind of zone in and, focus in on the game. So what do you think? Would you listen to music, or is that too distracting when you're playing? Well,
I don't know. I remember Silent Legend used to give advice. I remember he gave advice to Dave Cardell back in the day during CGS after I had beaten him at a GVN. And, Dave was really depressed. And he goes over to Silent Legend. He says, man, I don't know what to do. That Bayman just stomped me. I don't know. I don't know if I can play anymore. And he said, look, I want you to put on this. I want you to go sit there and meditate, listen to some music, and imagine an Ayane beat down. And he came right back, and he did great.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I guess it's up to the player.
Yeah, it is. But, I mean, he's always been a really smart guy. He knows just what to say at the right times. He knows how to break down games. He's kind of a sage, really.
All right, well, we're going to get answers from him because we are going to have a player interview here with Silent Legend himself, also known as Joel or Joel.
Yeah. All right.
My name is Joel Pagan, known as Silent Legend in the fighting game community. I haven't been competing recently, other than locals, but I would have to say one of my greatest accomplishments is, I guess, changing how DOA 4 was played, through discovery of, I got distracted, just cute pictures. But one of my greatest achievements is pioneering how, what did I pioneer? I haven't competed in a while, but other than the local tournaments, but one of my greatest achievements is pioneering how my characters played in DOA 4. At highest levels, I think the first thing is an understanding of the mechanics of the game in question. Obviously, character matchups, etc. And obviously the time and focus and dedication needed to pull the results that you want. I'm not trying to avoid anyone, but I am looking forward to everyone who's going to be there. It's going to be a great event. No. No. Not at all, no.
Definitely very silent. He doesn't even have words for his opponent.
Yeah, just like that. You know, he doesn't always say a lot, but anything he does say is important. So, you know, you best listen up when he does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And okay, so let's get back. Some characters that are here that I know a few people specialize in. What was it? Ninja CW is here.
Oh yes, Ninja CW. I got some history with that one.
Oh, really?
I remember when we first played, the first time I played Ninja CW was online in DOA 4. And back in the day, he was playing Hitomi.
Mm-hmm.
And he became actually known later on for playing as Genfu. And unfortunately, we don't have Genfu here with us today.
Well,
so
that's because Genfu was like extremely powerful in 4.
yeah, so we don't know if he's making a comeback or not. You know, maybe. But you know, he's got Hitomi, and Hitomi is better than she's ever been right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a feeling he's going to be rocking that Hitomi today. Now, when I first played him back in the day, you know, I was actually much better at first than he was. And as time went on, it got to the point where I couldn't even touch the kid anymore. He was just light years ahead of
Because of
me.
Genfu, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not going to say it was a character. I mean, he improved as a player.
Oh, yeah,
He
of course.
improved as a player.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his
Right.
character because I've got the firm belief, you know, if you pick a bad character, it's your own fault. But
I believe in that too.
But he improved a lot as a player, and like I said, it got to the point where I couldn't touch him anymore, and that there's something to be said for that because I like to think I'm no slouch. So, but he'll be here today. He'll be rocking that Hitomi, and you know he's a pretty good player, so he's got a fairly good shot at #1 if he puts in the effort.
Well, speaking of being good friends with some of the people that are here, another person from the community he goes by Cali Jared, but I do believe he's changing up his handle, so, you know, let's leave that one out for the jury. But Jared's here, and he's, you know, I remember him way back from the DOA 4 CGS days, and he was extremely competitive.
He was. I remember Jared, and he used to infuriate me to no end. Well, the first thing to know is he's an Ayane player, and Ayane has kind of always been my kryptonite for some reason. I don't know what it is, but Ayane always messes with me. And it was always so strange because in casuals, I could destroy him, but as soon as it came time for a tournament match, he'd always get the better of me. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why that was.
Right.
And, but Cali Jared, he's an incredibly competitive individual. You know, he does have history. He was on the first season of CGS.
Right.
So he's no slouch either.
Right.
He's coming here. He came here with a purpose. He's looking to take that money.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, watch out.
Speaking of that, the prizes for this tournament are pretty good. They've actually improved since E3. E3 you won 1,000, but at this event, it's 1,400 for first,
Yeah.
400 for second, and I believe 200 for third.
I believe that's right, yeah. And, you know, of course, on top of that, you get a trip to the launch party for DOA 5, which is going to be baller, I'm sure.
Yes. And there are a couple of the players we were talking about. That's Ninja CW on the left, and that is Shin Ryujin on the right. Looks like they're going over strategy.
Yes, and they look like they're quite into it. Judging by that hand motion, I'm going to guess he was talking about Bass because I'm seeing a lot of up motions. Could be wrong.
Bass is extremely, you know, Bass is kind of slimmed down on the muscular too in this game.
Yeah, it looks like he lost some weight, but he got, yeah, he's still probably better than he's ever been as far as the gameplay goes.
And that's also Vanessa, one of the other players we were talking about on the right screen there. And somebody else who's here.
Is that Wedge? It might be. I think that's Wedge.
That
yes,
is
it is.
Wedge.
It's Wedge. Switcheroo.
Yeah, she was at E3.
Yeah, she was. She was there very briefly. I wish she had come to say hi, but unfortunately she had to jet. Oh, well, maybe I'll get time to talk to her afterwards.
And another player, you know anything about Alan Paris? I'm saying that wrong, aren't I? It's Alan.
No, it's Alan Paris. That is
Okay.
correct. Alan is an incredibly good DOA 4 player. He actually came in very late to the scene, probably after most of the offline tournaments had sort of died out. But he started hosting online tournaments pretty much when everyone else had given up on the game. And I think he would primarily play a lot of Hayabusa and a lot of Kasumi. And the last DOA 4 tournament we actually had offline, he ended up taking the championship for that. So, I don't know. He's a fairly good contender for this today. I mean, I haven't seen him that often, but when I have seen him, he's been winning, so I don't know.
I really like seeing all you could tell they're so hardcore. They've been like waiting for this to come out. I personally have been waiting too because, you know, it was like 7 years since the last DOA.
Yeah, it's been about 7 years, and it's been way too long, honestly.
Way too long.
It's, every time I've seen a build to this, you know, it's like a roller coaster. My heart goes up, my heart goes down, my heart goes up, my heart goes down. They change something for the better, yay! They change something for this, oh, and then they change it for the better, and it's just been, it's been drama. It's been drama inside, emotionally. And I think it's finally just landing where it needs to be. And this game is, right now, playing better than any DOA has ever played in the past. And some people, I know they're not going to believe me about this until they actually play it, but it is the honest-to-God truth.
Well, come September 25th, we'll all be able to find that out.
Oh, yes, most definitely. So, I'm just thinking here, you know, we've got all these great characters. I think one we haven't really talked about, Brad Wong.
Oh, Brad Wong.
Yeah.
I remember that was like Chosen One's favorite character.
Yeah, so Chosen One's got his favorite character. Yeah. Brad Wong back in the past, you know, he has never actually been a good character. He's always been fun.
Not necessarily good. Like you said, it's the player, and you have to try a lot harder to win with Brad Wong. You have to be extremely careful, and you have to be very defensive, which, you know, it helps a lot, obviously, in fighting games to be very offensive.
Yeah. We always referred to him in the different tiers. There was, you know, high tier, mid tier, low tier, and then there was Brad tier. And he's kind of the exception to every rule.
Wait, that's below low tier then?
Well, yeah, technically it is.
Oh.
I know, it sounds bad. I mean, despite that, Brad could actually win. But the thing about Brad was you had to rely 100% on his unpredictability. He didn't have very good damage off of his guesses, but he could guess in a lot of ways.
Well, his strings were kind of predictable too, right?
Well, kind of. I mean, he has the drunken fighter style.
Right.
So if you haven't seen him or had to really play against the Brad Wong before, he could definitely throw you off because all of his moves look incredibly deceptive. But when you've all seen them for the 100th time, they're actually pretty slow, and they can only end one of two ways, and they're kind of telegraphed. So you didn't get a whole lot off of that. This time around, however, it's kind of switched up for him. You know, his attacks are still slow, but you only actually have a very small window in which you can hold or counter them. And he only needs about 3 hits to critical burst. So, you know, he has to make fewer guesses than most of the other characters.
Looks like he lost his T-shirt too in between the installments. That's Brad Wong right there. He actually looks really great in this edition.
Yeah, no, he looks kind of middle-aged and like he's been wandering around without a purpose for about 10 years, even though it's only been like, I guess, 1 as far as the game is concerned.
Story mode.
Yeah. I got a little fanfickish there for a moment, but yeah, Brad Wong is he's a much better character this time around, and I'm hoping, you know, after a few months we really begin to see he's, you know, competitively viable, because he's always been a fun character to play, just not competitively, and we are super psyched to see that as a possibility this time around. Yeah.
And you know, they're playing on the PS3 this time around. And for me, it's a little bit difficult to play on the pad. You know, I prefer the Xbox pad. But luckily, thanks to Mad Catz, we actually are able to have the arcade sticks and other variations of what we would like to have. So, you know, I'd like to give a shout out to Mad Catz for supporting this and bringing their equipment for us to use. You know, because, I don't know, do you have that kind of difficulty, like, you know, the preference of playing on different D-pads?
You know, I really do. And I'm one of those people, actually, I can't play with either on... I sometimes have trouble with, like, the default 360 controller, for example. And Mad Catz has always kind of had a pretty stable alternative to that.
Right.
And I know a lot of people out there use Mad Catz sticks, which have actually gotten quite good reviews as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's strange because, you know, from different fighting games, it actually, like, changes up. Like, I use a fight stick one of my Mad Catz fight sticks for playing Tekken. Like, it's way more comfortable for me to have it in Tekken than it is in Dead or Alive. I have to use the pad.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot, too. There seems to be a lot of people who seem to think you have to play DOA on a pad. And well, there's obviously people out there right now playing on stick who would disagree with that.
Right.
I've always felt that way personally. DOA just it works really good on pad. I don't know what it is, but certain inputs just feel like they come out more naturally that way.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this tournament. Do you have a prediction on who do you think is going to be the? Because it's top 3 for the money. So who do you think is going to be in that top 3?
Oh man, it's so hard. There's a lot of really good players here today, and whenever I've made a prediction within this kind of pool of players, it's always ended up being backwards. So, I don't want to shove my foot in my mouth on this, but I'd say probably between Ryujin, Silent Legend, and Ninja CW. I think it's between them. But then, Vanessa put on a really strong show last time, so there's that. And that's not to discredit Alan
she's going to be
Paris.
in my top 3, so I'll take that one for you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. So what is your top 3?
All right, well, definitely Vanessa, because she did really well at E3. She got second. I mean, come on. That's literally, if she gets second here, she's in the top 3. So let's see, who else? Ninja CW, he's doing really well with Hitomi. I think Silent Legend with Rig would be really interesting to see because that's a whole new character to the game. So maybe that's my top 3. Might throw, I think, Kelly Jared in between, like a few of them. So that would probably be my top 3.
All right.
Top 4-ish.
Poor Alan Paris.
3.5.
Poor Alan Paris.
Well, we haven't seen how he's, everybody's got to transfer over to DOA 5 style. So, Hayabusa, he was extremely powerful in 4. Have you gotten a lot of play with him in 5? Because I've kind of played him, and he seems just as strong, but I'm not sure.
He seems really strong, actually. Hayabusa has always been it's always been a joke that no matter what DOA it is, Hayabusa's like top tier.
Right.
I don't know if he's top tier this time around, but he is really good. Really, really good. Notice I've been talking about these characters. I haven't really said that there's been a lot of bad characters yet.
No.
And that's one of the things I think is going to surprise a lot of people. There aren't really that many bad characters in DOA 5.
No. And Virtual Fighter characters, too, they are so powerful. Have you picked up the Virtual Fighter characters?
Yes. The Virtual Fighter characters, Akira and Sarah, are scary.
Yeah.
To put it bluntly, they're scary.
I'm actually scared to see how they're going to do. I think they're going to really dominate in this DOA game because I've played against them, and maybe it's because I don't know their strings, because they're new characters. But
well, there's that effect. I mean, I haven't played a lot of Sarah, even when I was playing Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown. And just seeing her strings in DOA, I'm completely bewildered because I know what she can do out of that flamingo stance, but the rest of her move list, I'm like a deer in a headlight now. I don't know what to do against it yet, so it's going to take a little bit of time for me to get used to her, but she's terrifying.
Yes.
Terrifying.
A lot of the Virtual Fighter characters are, and I think it's cool because, Virtual Fighter is a very technical game.
It is.
And Dead or Alive, it's a different fighting style, but they actually were able, I think, to really integrate the whole technical style mixed with the Dead or Alive 4 style fighting. Yeah,
they really have, and, it's worth pointing out, there are certain characters in the game right now that kind of play, obviously, the Virtual Fighter characters play very faithfully to Virtual Fighter. A lot of attacks will grant an entire combo. There's a lot of setups you just can't hold out of, so they're very faithful to themselves. A lot of the characters now in DOA 5, they have that well-defined DOA 5 style where if you get hit by this, it guarantees a follow-up combo or it guarantees a next hit free or whatever. And, there's a few of the characters that still play kind of DOA 4 style, too. So there is a lot of variety in that.
Well, here on the screen, you guys see that's Vanessa on the left using her Hitomi. Looks like she's still sticking to her main character. And Shin Ryujin, he's using Sarah. There's that Virtual Fighter character we were talking about.
Yeah.
Flamingo stance. Is that the flamingo stance?
Yep, that's the flamingo stance where she just kind of sits there with one leg up. And, oh, man. There we go, those fast kicks going on there.
Look how powerful he is with her. I think, it might be very strategic to pick a Virtual Fighter character just because of the fact that you don't know the strings.
Yeah, and another thing with Sarah is just look how fast her movement is. She looks like she's flipping out there. You can't tell what she's doing. A really fast crouch dash in there.
And they're also in water too, which, you know, this stage is really frustrating for me. I've always found the water stages frustrating because of that stun property that happens.
Yeah, if you get hit by lows, especially when you're in water, you know, they cause you to trip over and slip. And that's always been tricky to deal with in DOA. And for any character that's got a good, strong low now, you've got unholdable stuns. So you put 2 and 2 together there, and that creates a really dangerous combination.
Wow, well, looks like he crushed her low wake up there. She's she just does not stop. She looks like she's extremely just fast and unpredictable. Yeah,
I mean, even sometimes when you're fighting her and you think you've been knocked down, she'll just keep on juggling you. Just sort of keeps on going on and on.
Is that going to be his main character, you think?
You know, I don't know. It's up to him. I mean, of course, you know, this is still a test build. It's a work in progress, you know. There might or might not be more characters in the mix.
That's true.
We don't know.
This isn't finished, and you know, I do think that I mean, we don't even know who the boss is yet for this game. So
I'm holding out for Donovan. I want to see him after 5 games, but at least in the trailer they actually showed him.
Right.
Up until DOA 4, they didn't even show that guy. Like he'd always been like the nameless, faceless villain, you know.
Well, Donovan is what, the owner of DOA Tech?
It's kind of more complicated than that. It's actually kind of convoluted when you think about it. But
let's get the story down.
Yeah, we got the story. Okay, I think first it was owned by Fame Douglas, then he got shot by Bayman, and then it was inherited by Helena. But Donovan was still using her like a puppet somehow. I'm not really sure what position he's in, but he's in some sort of control over it. Well,
the DOA tech is kind of what DOA centers around on the story mode.
Yeah, it's like the main evil corporation.
Right.
And I'm not really I honestly haven't seen a thing about the story for DOA 5 yet, apart from the trailer I'm sure everyone else has seen. But it seems kind of like there's 2 different DOA Tech factions now. You've got Helena's, which I guess Zach is helping to run the tournament for now.
Right.
And then you've kind of got Donovan still, and he's sort of chilling there with Christy. And who knows what evil experiments they're doing. And I don't know if they're still making ninja clones or what, but, you know, DOA.
Yeah. I like the story mode, you know, because it just gives you that little bit more to care about, that's all.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm really interested in seeing what they're doing with it. It looks like they fleshed out the story quite a bit this time, so I'm
the story that you know nothing about?
The story that I know nothing about. Well, I'm just going by the trailer, of course.
Yeah, right.
A few of the screenshots, it looks like Brad Wong and Elliot are having some sort of Jackie Chan-esque fight over a meat dumpling or something, so.
Yeah, they have that in DOA 4. I remember Li Fang, what does she walk up and then there's like a piece of cabbage and then Hitomi comes and then she's like, no, I want that cabbage, and then they fight. You remember that?
Yeah, actually, that's kind of
apparently not. Go to DOA 4, play the story mode, you'll see. There's a cabbage thing, cabbage problem.
Those 2 are just. I don't like what they did with Hitomi in 4 though, but they turned her into sort of. I don't know. She was too happy. She was like, Hitomi power up, and then I don't know. I like what they've done with her in DOA 5 though, because she's got the short cut hair again. She's more like the karate girl.
Right. Is she still all about? Wasn't she about Hayate all the time? Or
yeah.
Was it Ayn, or she was like always
like. Yeah, she was like chasing. She was like chasing Ayn or something like that, even though he was a ninja and doing his own thing, and et cetera, et cetera.
That DOA story.
Yeah.
But what else do we have here? Other new characters that we haven't gone over yet? I think we've covered most of what we've seen since E3. Obviously, there's been some balance changes. There's different kind of frame datas with the characters. You know, different things have happened. Hayate still isn't broken like I needed him to be.
Well, no, Elliot's pretty broken. As a matter of fact, I think we got some pretty cool footage of Elliot here. So why don't we go to that? I think that'd be a cool thing to see. Yeah.
Good luck. All right, let's go. Get ready, fight!
You can see here now that Elliot's still got that launching throw. He didn't really capitalize on it there in this, but you can just get an absolute ton of damage there, especially with that electrified wall. If you'd knocked him into that, it probably would have been at least half a life bar. There you go. And he missed that final hit there, unfortunately, but you can actually get really good wake up off of that.
I like his outfit.
Yeah, he's got that little.
English. It's like a very English London kind of style.
Yeah, he's actually got a English flag on his shirt on the inside. If,
really?
If he switches stance there, you can probably see it. Yeah, there it is. There we
Oh,
go.
and
That's how Rig keeps up his pressure there.
Right. Wow. Rig seems extremely powerful in this.
Oh yeah, you know, Rig could just get in there and totally screw with your mind. I like that kick he's got there that just breaks the guard like that. That's great. See, both players here are being really careful. They're putting a lot more thought into actually outspacing their opponent than you would in DOA 4. DOA 4 it felt more like, you know, the game didn't start until the stun, and here you have to really be careful who gets that first hit.
Because of all the new different stun properties.
Exactly, and you know, if you take the wrong hit, you know, that's it. You're done. You're going for a ride.
They actually, I believe there's new ones like the feint stun.
Oh yeah, there's that one.
The trip stun.
Yeah, we got the trip stun now, which is actually an older stun for DOA, but now it actually, for about half the stun, you cannot hold it all, and in many cases that guarantees a follow-up. There we go, and he's just getting that throw over and over and over again, and that is just going to irritate the heck out of so many people.
Nice sidestep there.
Well, there he is. He got that little back turn hit there. It's a shame he wasn't able to capitalize on it, but, you know, heat of the moment and all that. There we go. Unfortunately, he was a bit too slow at that follow-up there, so he did not get to follow up on that sit-down stun.
And Elliott didn't finish off a combo there. He's going to need that if he plans on coming back.
There we go. That quick palm, you just saw that in the face. That is that
That's
9 frame.
Oh my god.
That is that 9-frame interrupt, and he can just stuff you all day long with that. There is no way you're going to get past him.
Well, it's even between them now. It's 2 and 2, and you know, I really think he's kind of playing like Sarah. Doesn't Rig kind of look like Sarah? He's got that flamingo style.
Well, yeah, he's got that. I was about to say, you know, he doesn't quite look like Sarah. He's missing the locks that are so beautiful, but yes, he does have his own version of flamingo. I want to say it doesn't put on quite as much pressure as Sarah's, but he can probably end up doing a lot more damage in the long run.
Well, Elliott takes that 3-2, and there's that English flag on his chest there. You know, very appropriate, seeing that the Olympics just ended out there in
God,
London.
he really does look like Justin Bieber, doesn't he? He really does. It's kind of scary.
A blonde Justin Bieber. For all you Justin Bieber fans out there, I should.
But no, at least there's one
Looks
fan
like
out there.
We got one of those. Is that Swoozy?
Probably is. Probably is.
I don't think, you know, Swoozy, he's back from E3. You know, for you guys, you should know him. He's very popular on YouTube. And he's one of the he's very passionate about DOA.
Yeah, I actually asked him earlier, you know, I was going to start up a DOA clan. I asked him to join my clan. He said he'd consider it. We'll see whether or not he's actually going to do it. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Even he's got the I'm a Fighter t-shirt on and everything. That's dedication right there.
Oh,
number one? Are you going to get number one, Swoozy?
He thinks he's going to take... Oh, there we have Callie Jared being best friends.
Callie Jared saying Swoozy's number 2. He's number 1. He's all about that Justin Bieber. Maybe he'll use Elliott.
Maybe. You know, anybody could pull out anything today. All they have to do is spend 5 minutes with the character, decide, hey, I like this instead, and then they'll go with it. Because they haven't really had that much time with any of these characters.
That's true.
I mean, right now, you know, a lot of it's theory fighter.
That's why I would probably go with the virtual fighter character, just because of that. But at the same time, you know, how are you going to learn that character in 5 minutes?
Yeah, that's true. You know, virtual fighter characters are harder to use. I mean, they come from a game that is much more technical than DOA traditionally has been. So bringing that over,
yeah,
you probably have to spend a little more effort and time in those characters than with the DOA ones right off the bat.
Right. Well, the whole pad layout is different between Virtual Fighter, right? The way that you lay out your buttons.
Well, it kind of is and it kind of is. I mean, they all use the same buttons. Like, you know, the controller doesn't flip over on you or anything. But on the same ticket, you know, you sometimes have to use different inputs in DOA than you would in Virtual Fighter to get the same move.
Right.
So even if you're coming over from Virtual Fighter, you might have to relearn just a couple of things. For the most part, it's pretty faithful, though. I mean, you should be able to just slide right on over. It's not that big of a deal, really. But, you know, thinking about it, you said you were a Hayate player, right?
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on how Hayate has been so far? Well, that's not a good look.
I know, because, you know, Hayate was okay, I guess, in 4. He wasn't really that strong. But he had like that teleporting situation, and that he had a very good guessing game and stuff. And you know, he still has that kind of guessing game, but he seems to be a little bit like a mid-bottom tier.
You really think so?
Yeah. Well, you know, he seems, I don't know, I'm just getting like, it just doesn't feel like he's as powerful. Or maybe I'm just trying a little harder to have to get that win. But, you know, I really love seeing him again, and I'm glad he's just in it, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, some characters may or may not return, so it's great to see Hayate still in it. And Ein hasn't even showed up yet, so who knows, he may still lose his memory, and Ein might come back too, who was a...
You never know. I mean, just give him a quick bonk to the head, and we'll get Ein back, and then everything will be okay. He isn't, like, totally bad. I mean, I heard his up forward punch is a 2-1 now. Mm-hmm. And that's actually pretty good because, you know, from that, you know, it starts with a high attack, it goes into a mid, and it'll also go into a wall hit. And from there, you know, he can continue a free combo. So that's not entirely bad. Mm-hmm. It's not entirely bad. I hope he sees some minor improvements maybe in a patch because I have been hearing things about him, you know. I'm not a Hayate expert, so.
Well, there he is right there on the screen. Versus Hitomi, I believe that's Ninja CW using his classic Hitomi there.
Oh, yes.
And you see he has to try harder. See what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. Hitomi is strong, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be everybody's favorite Hitomi outfit now. You notice that?
The gi?
Yeah, the gi, definitely.
Right.
I see like everybody just automatically going in on that. I think it reminds them of DOA 3.
That's true. Something else about the costumes too is that they have like themed costumes, which I really like. So they have like a construction stage, you know, like with the beams and stuff. The beams, I've learned that last time since E3.
Oh.
And yeah, they have the construction side. But what's cool is that they have outfits now. Like Bass has a construction outfit, and Rig has a construction outfit. So, and there's also like circus outfits for the circus stage. So I think it's really cool because I don't remember ever seeing that before, where the outfits and the stages match.
Yeah, that's something that's new, and I think that's interesting. Like, I think Hitomi's clown outfit, honestly.
That's still bugging you.
If you pick that outfit against me online, it's only going to make you lose faster. That's all I'm going to say on that. But I kind of wish they'd given Hayabusa a clown outfit. I just think that would have been epic.
Hayabusa? Yeah.
I mean, even as a hidden outfit, maybe unlocked after 999 hours of play, all of a sudden, Hayabusa Unleashed. But that would have been nice. But that's just in my head, unfortunately.
Maybe he'll have a bunny costume. Because if you pre-order the game, you get bunny costumes. So, you know, you never know. Maybe he'll be in a bunny costume.
Maybe. Probably not.
I'd like to see that over a circus. I think that'd be even more funny.
Well, that's the female request. I'm personally grateful that isn't in the game. At least I sincerely pray to God it isn't. But you're welcome to your opinion. Mm-hmm. That said, it does look quite good on Kasumi, I will admit.
Yeah, you've seen the bunny costume?
I've seen the screenshots of the bunny outfit. I was impressed. I'm going to
have to pre-order that.
But yes. Of course, another character we've got is Jan Lee, who we haven't really talked a lot about. And,
well, we have a Jan Lee specialist here today.
We do, of course. That's Ryujin. Mm-hmm. And Jan Lee's got this kick. Or actually, it's a throw. And it's called the Dragon Gunner. And basically, as soon as he gets within sort of mid to short range, he does sort of like this little leg swipe. He grabs your leg and then kicks it down. And that gives him guaranteed follow-ups into pretty much anything he wants. And if you've got your back to a wall when he gets off this Dragon Gunner, you could easily lose like a third to half of your life bar under the wrong, conditions. If it's an electrified wall, definitely half life bar.
Right.
And it comes out so fast. You know, you cannot let Jan Lee get in close to you in this game. He is just absolutely terrifying. He's got some real shenanigans this time around.
He was a very powerful character. You know, he was extremely powerful in DOA 3 and then in 4, but now in 5, like you're saying.
Yeah, he's always been respectably strong, even in DOA 4, where a lot of the characters didn't feel like they were. You know, he could outspace you if you were playing against a good Jan Lee, and Ryujin could do that. Now Ryujin has gotten a character who's just been nothing but buffed up to the extreme, and it's going to be great to see how Jan Lee plays out in competition now. I know a lot of people are really excited about him.
Well, it looks like we have a couple of players here getting ready to face off soon. That was Joel, the Silent Legend, He's been playing for an extremely long time. He's been playing for, I think, like, what is it, 15, 18 years, like since DOA came out. What was it, on the Dreamcast?
Yeah, I think the very first one was arcade release, then it was Saturn. DOA 2 was Dreamcast.
Oh, okay.
DOA 2 is Dreamcast, yeah.
Yeah, he's been playing for an extremely long time. And, I've been asking them opinions on a virtual fighter, how it's been crossed. And I was wondering, like, so what would they want? I asked him, what would you want to see if you could cross anything? And an interesting answer is he said that he would like to see Back to the Future mixed with Dead or Alive.
What?
He wants to see Doc Brown. He wants to play Doc Brown.
I'm just trying to imagine, like...
if he goes 88 frames a second, maybe he'll go back in time.
I'm trying to imagine here, like a DeLorean, like, zipping by and killing somebody with a fatality or
Yeah,
something.
like in the DOA 4 stage. They could have had the DeLorean zipping by on that car stage.
Oh, man.
All right, well, here we go. We're finally into the tournament. We got Silent Legend versus Nick the Intern. And there's that new the costume I was talking about, that construction costume.
Yeah, because, Rig, like his name, works on an oil rig, so...
Does he? Is that his profession?
Yep, that's his profession. For some reason or another, even though Bass is, professional wrestler, he's also working with Rig on that oil rig.
Well, if I were to hire anybody to move some stuff around.
I don't know. I mean, Bass is kind of an angry guy. I'd be worried about him breaking stuff. But here, oh, look at that dragon kick by Silent Legend there. He ain't messing around.
Very nice grab by Ayane. And, he's really blocking well, and he looks like he's just being extremely patient.
I can see there, he was probably trying to go for a critical burst there. It didn't quite work out of X-Stun. Oh, there we go. Quick
nice,
counter
low
there.
Counter.
Yeah, and now it almost seems like Silent Legend's just kind of playing with his food here.
Well, he does have a comfortable 2 rounds on the opponent there, which gives him plenty of time to win. All he needs is one more hit.
Oh, and he just goes for the low.
We know those lows.
Oh, yes. On to the next fight, he says.
And there he is, cool, calm, and collective. No earbuds, so it looks like he...
Look at these guys' eyebrow just sort of raised there, like, oh, yeah, I'm it. I'm the stuff.
I'm surprised he doesn't have his earbuds in. I guess he doesn't use that for competition purposes.
No, he's got the music in his heart now. He doesn't need to actually hear it through his ears anymore. He's just like, that's it. We're on this. You're done.
All right, well, here we are going in. I believe it's 2 out of 3, right, to advance?
I believe so, yes.
Right. And single elimination tournament as well until we get into the finals.
Yep, that's right, until top 8, I believe.
Right.
All right, and we have Ayane doing a little bit of damage here, but it looks like it's going to turn around real quickly here. And there we go. I'm surprised here. When Silent Legend knocked him into the wall there and he bounced off, he could actually come up with a follow-up. Didn't really see that out of him, which is surprising, but it is a new game.
Very nice punish by Ayane there, but...
And there's the low again.
All Rig needs is that low hit to win, and it's now in his favor 1-0.
And there he is, putting on the pressure early. I don't know if he's going to give it up at this point.
Something I really like about the stage 2 are those spotlights that they put on them.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. I mean, like I said, I'm not a fan of the circus or clowns, but it is, gameplay-wise, I like the scene.
Well, now we know your kryptonite.
No. The kryptonite is the Ayane, but...
Oh.
Like I said, if you dress up like a clown, it's only going to get you killed faster. There we go. He's just taking it again and again here. I don't know. Does Nick the Intern have a chance here? Can he pull this back? There's a critical burst by Silent Legend.
Very nice 10-hit combo.
Comes in with that flip kick. Silent Legend is just playing with his food here. What is he going to do? Oh, I don't know.
He could have punished that. She whiffed that grab there, but, he was still blocking because he's definitely playing very defensive.
Yeah, he is. He almost seems like he doesn't really want to take any risks here, but he's being so hesitant that he's just taking more damage than he actually needs to.
That's very respectful, because I get frustrated when players, they're just like, I'm not even going to be careful with you because I don't think you're good. So it's really nice to see that he's respecting every opponent and doesn't underestimate them.
Yeah, I think DOA 4 taught us to do that a lot because, no matter how good or bad the opponent was, one wrong counter and whoop, there goes all your life bars. Right. So he's probably just got a lot of that when he hits tournament mode. He just gets kind of a little bit nervous maybe, a little bit heightened caution, and unfortunately that makes you hesitate a little bit too much, I think, in this game.
Right.
But, we'll get over that as time goes on. I think he's got a really solid rig there from what I've seen, and when it starts becoming, you know, high level versus high level, we're going to see some really interesting fights out of rig.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it's going to take a while for these players to adapt to the new characters because, you know, a lot of them are very similar in DOA 4, and I really like that because a lot of games I've played, they always change it too much, and it doesn't feel like the original game.
Yeah, and I noticed what's really strange about DOA 5 is, you know, at first glance, and I'm sure a lot of people at home are noticing this when they see so many holds going on out of stun, it looks like DOA 4, but that's pretty much where it ends.
Right.
You know, you can still do the holds out of a lot of stuns, so it might even feel like DOA 4 a little bit at first, but...
Well, it still has, like, similar combo, because even I noticed with Hayate, you know, it's got very familiar combos.
Right, but, you know, the recovery is really increased on these holds by quite a bit. It's deceptive.
Well, and the new stun system, too, creates a whole other aspect.
Exactly. And it's like doing something like Bayman's down back punch. If that's a counter hit, you know, it's going to go into a trip stun, and the second punch is guaranteed. There's no way you can counter before it. It's just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Most people who are just watching the match don't realize this, so it's hard to tell how much, you know, each strike is really worth when you're watching a match. So, you know,
well,
I hope people don't judge it too fast before they actually play the game, because there's actually quite a lot of strategy that's going to be going into this.
Right. And, you know, learning the characters and stuff like that, something that I'm so glad that they did finally in DOA 5 was the training system. You can now spar online with someone and, you know, just go at it and not lose the round, or the round won't be over, because you can actually finally spar online and you have the frame data and everything. I think they've done it, like, perfectly.
Yeah, it's pretty much perfect at this point, and you know, this is the bar that every other fighting game needs to try to hit from now on, because it's beyond perfect. They've gone on up and over anything anyone has ever done before, and like you said, that online sparring is just completely amazing.
Yeah, and it's going to change the way everything's played, because now the players, you know, before, if it's like you would do better if you could play with somebody offline and you could really train and do all that, but now that you can actually play with everybody online and spar, it really helps the community to improve each other's skills.
Exactly. I mean, I know before it was so frustrating because I'd try to go online and be like, hey, you want to improve? Here, let me show you something. And I'd try showing it to them, but by the time I could show them like maybe 2 repetitions of it, you know, they were dead, and then the round was restarting and we had to reposition. And it was just a complete headache. And now it's like, okay, here, let me show you how this is. Okay, now repeat it. And you have all the time you need to sit there and train a new student on how to play the game correctly.
Right.
So, I mean, another thing is, you know, assuming clan battles and stuff like that come back for DOA 5, and I'm hoping that they do. I'm going to try to make my own.
Yeah, I know. I've heard you talk about that earlier, and I think that's a great idea. You want to do clan battles, and when you say clan, because you know clans aren't usually in fighting games. What do you mean, like?
Well, you know, it was strange because with DOA 2U, that was one of the first online fighters that pretty much existed. So, you know, we kind of borrowed the concept of clans over from some other online first-person shooters and such forth.
Right.
And that's something that hasn't really been replicated too much in other fighting games. But on the same ticket, it worked. It became part of the community.
Right.
So I'm hoping that this time around we get the whole clan structure back and we have these huge clan matches, you know, showdowns again.
I heard you trying to get Swoozie on your clan
already. I was trying to.
You're trying to suck up all the talent already?
I'm trying to, well, you know, early bird gets the worm and all that.
I'm also on that worm there, and I'm trying to start my own female portion of that. And, you know, I talked to Vanessa, and I'll be talking to Kayane, and, you know, I think I'm going to start an all-female clan to go up against you.
Well, I don't know. Vanessa and Kayane, that's not bad. Do you have anyone else?
You know, I'm not sure what girls are coming back because, you know, well, there's Reg. So obviously, I just saw she's here. So
that's true.
So maybe if she wants to be a part of that, but you know, I think it's really gonna be great to have clans because it gives you that, like, you know, ooh, I don't like them, and animosity, and kind of like, you know, a little bit more to be a part of in a sense.
But why's it gotta be all female? You trying to say you don't like boys?
No, it's not that I don't. It's just that, you know, girls, we have a lot harder time kind of being in the online scene. So I think it's great to have female support. So that way,
but,
you know, we don't.
But you've got Vanessa and Kayane. They destroy everybody. How's that hard?
Yes, they just. Well, that's exactly why I'm putting them on my team. Because if I get them on my team, then we'll destroy everybody.
Well, I don't know. I got to think about who else I'm going to get now. Maybe I can get Black Mamba. He'd be up for it. If he's going to go back to movement or what?
Well, I think it's a great idea to bring the clan thing back. So, you know, if when you guys get DOA 5 and you get into it, and if you're a female, of course, you know, hit me up and let me know.
Definitely. And here we have, let's see, a man in shades who I do not know who he is. What is he going to be playing? Oh, they're setting up the console again. Oh, thought we were going to go right into it. I guess not.
Nope, looks like, don't forget guys, if you have any questions or want to read any articles, you can always go to doa.ign.com. There's been 12 articles recently that have been put up for 12 days leading up to this event. So, you know, if you haven't been there in the last 12 days, definitely go check that out because they have really in-depth stuff done thanks to Dr. Dog, Brian Dawson. If you guys have any questions too, you can feel free to tweet at him. It's at Dr. Dog, no spaces, 2 Gs. You know, it's really cool to read those articles because he really does go in depth and get a good feel of.
He really does. You know, and he's gone above and beyond to try to break this game down for us before it comes out and to try to help out the community. So a big shout out to him. You know, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So hats off to you, assuming I had a hat. I don't.
Well, I think he announced too that he's not really going to be competitive. So you know, unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to beat him up like I usually do, but
I don't know. Something tells me he'll come around. He may say that, but I got this feeling.
Yeah. I don't think you can help it. You know, there's something about DOA that you gotta play it.
He's consistently been around for it, regardless of what he said. So.
Well, looks like we're gonna be heading into our next match here, and I believe that was Elliot and Zach.
It did appear to be so. I'm interested in seeing how Zach plays this time around because. At E3, he was probably one of the weaker candidates, but I've heard he's gotten some buffs. I wasn't quite sure exactly what got buffed.
Right.
So I guess we'll just have to wait and see if we notice anything.
And don't forget, you guys that are sitting in the crowd here, if you want to be a part of this tournament, there's a top 3 prizes. There's $1,400 for first place, pays out to third, and you can actually sign up while you're here to play. So those of you sitting there, you know, go talk to some of the admins around if you guys are interested in playing, and who knows, you could be walking out with $1,400.
Yeah, you never know.
All right, well, here we go, finally getting into this round. And once again, we're at this water stage, so you gotta be careful for the stun properties.
Yeah, and there you go. You saw Zach just slip right off the bat there. Elliot's got really fast lows, so and they're pretty deceptive in appearance, too.
I love that outfit from Zach. Very IPL red and black. I like that.
Yeah, I like when he starts out, he's still got the hat, but, you know. He knows how to rock things without the hat.
All right, well, very strong Zach there coming out, and very strong Zach.
Very strong Zach, indeed.
Excuse me, I'll disconnect there. And, you know, I'm really frustrated with the stage because you can tell, like, any hit there, you just get a stun. You got to be very defensive in water.
Oh, that's something, a little note for the competitive players. You see that torch there. If you knock into that torch, of course, it'll break like it did in DOA 3.
But now it creates a stun. Like
yes, that's right. If you juggle somebody into it or just knock them into it, it'll create an additional sit-down stun, and you get a complete free launch off of that. So there's no way they can hold out of it or anything. So you can greatly increase the damage output on your combos if you aim for those.
Well, here we are now. Zach's 2-0. But, you know, this Elliot's putting up a good fight.
Yeah, he really is.
Maybe he needs to know about that 9-frame jab.
Yeah, that thing is just beastly. Unfortunately, it's not his regular jab, so you have to use a specific input for it.
What's the input?
I didn't have time to double check. I can't really remember off the top.
It might be like an up forward or something.
I think it's probably like an up forward.
Up back?
Whoa.
Up back. Okay, we just got confirmed by Silent Legend, of course, the guy who knows, you know, creating. Anyway, up back punch.
Up back punch.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Either way, totally.
Well, there's a nice handshake
awesome.
between them. That is our Zach player taking the win there. Moving on to the next part of the bracket. And I believe I saw he's wearing that the bomb from Mario. They're really cute, the little bombs from Mario.
Ba-bombs?
They're little bombs.
Yeah, it's a ba-bomb.
Oh, it's a ba-bomb?
Yeah,
is that what
ba-bomb.
they're called?
Ba-bomb. I learned that from the horrible Mario Brothers movie, but it was still entertaining.
Really? They had
Yes.
a bomb in the horrible Mario's movie?
Yeah, it's how they took out Koopa.
Oh, wow. You really know your gaming stories.
I have to. I mean, I'm a gamer. I'm going on 25-year-old gamer, so I have to know these things. It's, you know, seniority. And here we go again. They're on the ice stage here.
Yeah, they did shake hands a little early because he's still in it. It's freestyle here versus Brick Sanchez.
Here we go. This is one of the newer stages in this build. I'm sure some of you guys saw this in the earlier combo videos that Ninja released, and this is it's really a gorgeous level in my opinion.
I like it. Can you fall off it?
Yes, you can. This is actually an infinite stage. You can fall off of either side, and it'll just keep on going along and along. And one of the things that you can land on, it's a partition, and if you knock somebody over it, it'll actually split the glacier in half, and the other half will start sinking. It's really cool.
That is really cool. All right, well, here Zach is just putting on amazing pressure. Looks like he might get a great this round if Elliot can't get a jab in, and there is that great.
Oh, yeah, that Zach player's just taking it.
All right, 2-0 in his favor. If he wins this next round there, he will advance to the next portion of the bracket.
That he will. And I kind of like those new snow effects. It just kind of gets all over his coat, you know?
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's another thing they've added is the outfits get dirty, or in this case, snowy.
Yeah, it's nice to see that that's stage specific and that's not just, you know, a generic effect. And there we go. Zach just took that final round there. Hardly broke a sweat. Bam, ba bam, 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 bam. It's over, he says. And look at that. You can actually even see, you know, his breath sort of coming out, creating that mist because of the cold air. I love how they put that in there.
DOA 3, I remember because when you that snow stage, you'd walk around and leave your footprints in the heavy snow.
Yeah, that was right. They've always had an eye for those kind of minute details that really, really add to the game. I like that quite a lot. But yeah, I wonder who we've got coming up here first, man. I want to see some Jan Lee.
I think we do see Shin Ryujin. He's on the stage. Maybe he's next.
Oh.
So what do you think of Jan Lee in this new one? You said he's strong, right? Where would you put him on a tier base?
Ooh. See, this is where it gets tricky because he's got one move that really, really defines him, and that's the Dragon Gunner.
Dragon Gunner.
The Dragon Gunner. I mean, that...
Is that the one where he flies across screen?
No, the Dragon Gunner is his offensive hold, where he runs forward, he sort of grabs your leg with his leg, and then he kicks in your leg. And
Right.
And then from that, you know, they're in recovery for a long time, so he can pretty much do anything he wants to you. And
he gets
it's
guaranteed combos after that?
He gets guaranteed combos after that. If your back is to a wall and he does that to you, he'll get a free forward kick. You'll smash into the wall, and then he can keep juggling you again, smash you into the wall again, and it hurts. It's terrifying. But that's Jan Lee for you now. He's pretty much defined by that one move. If he keeps you scared of it, you know, that lets him do what he wants to you at range. So.
Well, I don't think he's playing quite yet. I do see Joe sitting down, Silent Legend, and he's been Rig, you know, it's such a good character, and he's really showing how these new characters that have been added to DOA can play.
Yeah, I can't wait to see a little bit more Rig here, and I'm hoping we get to see a little bit of Rig's wall game, because I haven't honestly seen him hit the wall a lot with Rig. He seemed to have been dropping some of those combos on the circus stage earlier.
Right.
And I know he knows how to do more than that. So.
Well, granted, you know, they're playing on the PS3 pad, which I know, just for me at least, that not having that familiarity on the pad, some of my moves weren't coming out the way that I thought I was inputting them. So.
Yeah, I actually have a little bit of that problem too, and that's nothing against the PS3 pad actually.
No.
The PS3 pad is fine.
I just have to get used to it.
Yeah, you got to remember, before now, it was on the Xbox exclusively for two generations.
It was one of the launch titles.
Yeah, it was
for Xbox 360.
Yeah, DOA 3 was on the Xbox, DOA 4 was on the Xbox 360. So now we're trying to get used to this game with a DualShock 3 or whatever. And some of the inputs are kind of wonky for us right now. I know like down forward is really hard for me to get for some reason. I don't know why. My brain knows how to do it. My hand apparently doesn't. So.
I think it's because if you notice on the PlayStation pad, the arrows are separated. Unlike the Xbox pad,
it's
all
kind of like
on
a gigantic disc.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when you do like a sweep on it, you know, you don't. If you miss it on the PlayStation, you literally have a blank space there. But with the Xbox one, it's the whole controller you're moving.
Yeah, but I know a lot of people absolutely swear by the DualShock. So
yeah,
it's just something you got to get used to.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it will come around eventually.
Yeah. Or I'm going to have to move over to a Mad Cat stick.
And it might not be a bad idea, too. I mean,
yeah.
for me it might be because I'm terrible with stick, but, you know, that's...
Yeah. I used it in Tekken. I get used to it.
All right, and we are waiting for the game to load. Oh, these test builds, they take so long to load, and we just want to see people beat the crap out of each other.
Well, let me ask you, Rakuda, what if you could cross DOA with anything, what would you cross DOA with?
Well, we kind of already did, and that was Virtua Fighter.
That's what you would want?
Honestly, what I would love to see would be a full versus game between DOA and Virtua Fighter. That's what I'd like to see. But here we're going into this match here, and this is another one of the new stages. And this stage is massive. It is deceptively big, folks. You can smash through the walls, you can smash through the floors.
It has my drawings on the wall there.
Really? You drew those? You do that little flower? It's very pretty.
And the lollipop.
And the lollipop, okay.
All right, well here Rig is just putting on that pressure with a nice 9-hit combo into that broken wall, just like you were talking about.
There he goes. And of course, you know, if they smash into the furniture, any of the breakable furniture, that puts them into that sit-down stun that you can't hold out of, so that's another free relaunch. One more hit, you can see the floor is cracking there, and there it is. It broke free, and they're down on the next level.
Looks like we went out of the kitchen bedroom, now down into the living room here, and nice counter by him. He seems to be on his game today.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, you know, for him, he might not even be breaking a sweat right now. I don't know. He's kind of taking it back. Maybe Zach has something to tell him.
Very nice launcher and completing off that combo. I don't think he's missing his strings like we were discussing earlier.
Yeah, he didn't go for a launch after he broke that little cabinet there, but he did get in that free kick.
Very nice. Zach does have that predictable low, 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 so a very nice counter there by Silent Legend.
He's cracked the floor a bit there. If he can get in, I think, one more good slam on that floor, that's going to break.
So now these floors kind of have life bars in a sense.
Yeah, they usually take 2 good hits and then they'll just smash right through.
Right. Before in DOA, it was kind of like just 1 hit every time. So
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you know, we haven't seen breakable floors in actually a really long time. Oh, and into the ceiling and down into the floor again. Now they're on the ground floor.
Well, this is Zach is putting up a great fight here.
Yeah.
And, you know, Freestyle is doing extremely well.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing more of a fight out of Zach than I expected, so yeah, definitely liking this here.
Well, here is Silent Legend's favorite 2-1, and
maybe I'm waiting to see if they break through another wall here. I don't know.
Does it go outside the house?
Yes, you can actually smash people through outside into the courtyard too.
Okay.
So this is a deceptively large stage. I have not actually seen all the rooms inside of it. So.
Ooh, unfortunately there he tried to do one of the strings but was hit mid-air out of that combo. And I can tell Silent Legend he seems to be playing a lot more careful because, you know, this Zach is playing a great fight.
He is, and you can also see, you know, those ceiling attacks are back in the game now, so you get launched in the ceiling, come down, and get launched again for free. And there we go.
Really?
Silent Legend takes that one.
Oh. Was that in DOA 4 where you get the free?
Yeah, they actually originally put that in Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate. It came back for a couple of levels in DOA 4, and it appears to be back again. And it's nice to see that there, because it really does give an advantage to certain characters and kind of creates, you know, a level of environmental fear.
Well, that's Freestyle there on the camera. He's got headphones. Maybe he should do that Silent Legend zoning thing. Silent Legend needs to tell him, you just need to kick butt with Zach.
And here we are on the oil rig stage again, and this is another level here where you can break through the floor, and there it is. And this is another one here. If they smash into that little pipeline there, you can actually bring that whole thing crashing down and onto another tier. And it looks like the wall will come down in a moment, and there it is. He's going to try to knock him down. I can see Silent Legend. You can just, it's like the thoughts just seeping out of his mind. You can see his intent. It's like, you're going over this ledge. I'm lining it up. You're going down there. Let's try to avoid that.
You know, something I'm not really seeing are the sidestep mechanics, too. You know, a lot of these players, I think, is the problem that I was having, too, is that you feel very DOA 4-ish, you know, because I'm so used to playing DOA 4.
Yeah, and that's kind of a shame, because, you know, there's a very good sidestep system in this thing.
Yeah.
It works really well. We're out of habit of using it, but, you know, once we start getting into high-level play, it's going to become as regular as it is in something like Virtua Fighter and Tekken.
Very nice blocking by Zach there, and you know he's coming in with those lows, and Zach seems to be getting an advantage there. And I really like this style of Freestyle is doing really well. I didn't expect this.
Yeah, I mean he's putting up a much bigger fight against Silent Legend than I would have expected, but I'm honestly surprised here. Neither person has gone off that ledge. You know, if Freestyle can turn this around and not die, anybody did.
Unfortunately, that combo was going to finish him there. It is now in Legend's favor, 2-0, and I think we saw some sidestepping there.
We just saw a pretty good sidestep coming out of Silent Legend, and there we go, down there. This is the final tier that I know of in this stage. If you smash into any of those tanks, you know, it starts a massive fire. Stuff starts exploding.
And you can juggle off that too.
Yeah, it gives a one of those sort of cinematic explosions where you just go flying right off.
Very nice blocking by Rig. He's got that low health. He's got to be extremely defensive. And all Zach needs is one hit, and there we go. Zach got the one hit in. It's really close.
It is. I mean, I don't know if Zach can take this back right now. I mean, Silent Legend, I think he's having this problem here. He's playing with his food too much, and it's fighting back. So
you never want your food to fight back.
No. Bite your food, food bites you back. You don't want that.
Very nice launch there. Oh, he didn't. That's one of the combo connectors, but it looked like the gravity wasn't really going to allow him to connect that.
No, he didn't do that right finisher there. I'm not sure if he didn't extend the stun far enough, but this is a very big launch, so we'll see what he gets off of this. Oh, he missed that. I could see that. He missed that kick there. Didn't get quite what he wanted from it.
It's hard to, when the gravity, since they're so high in the air too, right? You have to get them perfectly when they come down in the air.
Oh, that was a beautiful throw there. That's
14 seconds.
Oh, and Zach is taking it back. Silent Legend is thinking, how is this happening to me? This was not in the plan.
That was a very dangerous counter there, because they were both at neutral, and he decided to counter and then got grabbed for it. That was, it's hard to predict.
Yeah, sometimes it really is. And of course now the oil rig is exploding. The fire is catching and slowly engulfing the stage. Oh, wow. And you can tell he's just trying to play it safe, going for that run-in kick there, get the frame advantage off the guard break. But he sidesteps it and he says, no sir, that ain't happening.
Here comes out the lows, the frustrating lows, and there's the last low he needed to win that 3-2. Very good game. Claps from the crowd there, good support. And, he kind of like adjusted.
Yeah, he kind of did. I mean, Silent Legend, it seemed like he was just sort of losing pressure there at the end. Like, he couldn't really keep up against that Zach player. I don't know, maybe this might intimidate him into trying perhaps a different choice of character.
That's true.
Because he hasn't really had time to fully master Rig. It's a new character, so I don't know.
True. That was always a thing for me too. Like I used Ayane in Doa 4, and then my tournament, I wasn't doing so well in tournaments, so I switched over to Hayate, and I always wondered like what would happen had you just stuck to a character. Do you ever have that like character contemplation? I
do, unfortunately. I have a problem where when I don't know what to do, I just pick Bayman. And in the past, Bayman wasn't a very good character, so that was a pretty poor choice.
Right.
These days, I don't think it'll be that much of an issue for me anymore because Bayman's pretty strong. But I do have that sort of character loyalty issue. But Joel, he does play VF characters as well. He plays a lot of Virtua Fighter. I know he knows how to use Akira. And I'm surprised we have not seen that out of him yet. Because Akira is tough in this game.